Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today you're going to write a retell of the folktale Little Rabbit's Tale by Wong Herbert Yi, illustrated by Richard Bernal. This is from First Grade Journeys, Lesson 20. So for this lesson, you will need a piece of paper and a pencil because at the end of our review of the story, you're going to challenge yourself and answer this question. What happened in the story? Write a retell. And I'm going to give you your sequence words. We're going to use our colors. Green means go. It's the start of the retell or the beginning. And you're going to use the sequence word first. Then we're going to slow down, yellow, and go to the middle of the story, retell the middle. And we're going to use the words then and later. And then we're going to go stop and use red and the finish or end of the story, and you're going to use the word last. So here's our learning target. I can write a retell of the folktale Little Rabbit's Tale using complete sentences. So a tale is just a story, just like a folktale is a story. Success criteria. That means how will you know you're successful at writing a retell? Well, here are your steps to success. Number one, I will. Say and match the characters and setting. Number two, I will. Say and match the lesson or moral of the story, what the characters learned. Number three, I will. Put the retelling pictures in the correct sequence or order. Number four, I will. Say, match, and write the sentences to each picture, saying what happened first, then, later, and last. And then finally, check my writing using my writing checklist. Let's review folk tales. What are folk tales? Folk tales are stories that have been told orally or out loud from generation to generation. Moral. What is a moral? A moral is a lesson about life that a fable teaches, or a folk tale. The moral can usually be found at the end of the story. Characters. Who are the characters? Characters are the people, animals, or objects in a story. Setting. What is the setting? Setting is where the story takes place. Sequence. What is sequence? Sequence is the order things happen in a story. You're going to write these sequence words in your retell. First, next, last. Or you could say beginning, middle, and end of the story. So let's orally retell Little Rabbit's Tale. We're going to say what happened in the story, as well as who the characters are and where the story took place, the setting. So say the sentence frames with me and finish your thinking. The characters are, who are the characters in the story, Little Rabbit's Tale? The characters are the friends, Little Rabbit, and his mom. Where does the story take place? The setting. Where does the story take place? The setting. The setting is the forest. That's where the story mostly takes place. And also Little Rabbit's house. Now we're going to put our pictures in the correct sequence. First, this happened. Later, this happened. Next, this happened. And last. So first, what happened to Little Rabbit? First, Little Rabbit, tell me what's happening in that picture. Well, first, An apple falls off an old tree and hits Little Rabbit. He thinks the sky is falling. So first, an apple falls off an old tree and hits Little Rabbit. He thinks the sky is falling. Later, Little Rabbit tells Goose they use a rowboat and they use a rowboat to go tell Beaver. Beaver wants to tell Turtle. So a lot of things happen in this picture. Later, Little Rabbit tells Goose and they use a rowboat to go tell Beaver. Beaver wants to tell Turtle. Next, what happens next? What does the little rabbit's mom tell the animals on all the friends? Next, little rabbit's mom Mother Rabbit tells everyone that the sky is not falling. It was just an apple that fell from an old tree. So next, Mother Rabbit tells everyone that the sky is not falling. It was just an apple that fell from an old tree. So last, what happens at the end of the story? Last, Mother Rabbit gets more plates. Then all the friends wash their hands so they can eat a meal together. So last, Mother Rabbit gets more plates. Then all the friends wash their hands so they can eat a meal together. So in the end, everyone learned to what do you first need to do before just reacting to something? In the end, everyone learned to first stop and think. Little Rabbit didn't take time to stop and think. He just thought the sky was falling when the apple hit him, but he should have taken the time to stop and think and say, the sky isn't falling, and look around and see the apple. His friends should have also stopped and thought about what Little Rabbit was telling them. So it's the end of our review. It's time to challenge yourself. You will need that piece of paper and pencil. You're going to write a retell and answer this question. What happened in the story? Write a retell. So when I show you each sentence, you can push pause, you can say your sentence, then push pause and write your full sentence for each of the 4 sentences. So let's start at the start or the beginning. First, this is green, we're gonna go. First, middle, I don't know, I'm sorry, Mrs. Pearson is going ahead of myself. Remember, you're going to write your retell and we're going to use first, then, later, and last. But before we do that, we're going to review, say each sentence out loud before you write it. And here we're going to use my writing checklist. Make sure when you're writing your sentences, use finger spaces between each of your words. And also use punctuation. Put a period or an exclamation mark at the end of each of your sentences. And always, always use uppercase letters at the beginning of each sentence, or a capital letter at the beginning of a sentence, and for proper nouns, like if you're saying someone's name. And when you come to a word you don't know how to spell, I want you to sound out the unknown words, stretch out the sounds and write them. And my favorite, reread each of your sentences To make sure they make sense, you need to read your writing out loud. That way you can either add some words to make it make sense or take out a word or two if you added too many words. All right, now we're going to write your retell. What happened in the story? Write a retell. We're going to go. Green means go. We're going to start at the beginning. First, an apple falls. So say that and finish your sentence. First, an apple falls. So after you say the sentence, push pause and write your green sentence. When you're finished writing your green sentence, push play. Now we're going to slow down. We're at the middle of the story. Middle. So yellow means slow down. Then little rabbit tells. Then little rabbit tells. So say your complete sentence, push pause, write your complete sentence, and when you're done writing your first yellow sentence, push play. Later, Mother Rabbit tells everyone. What does Mother Rabbit tell everyone? Later, Mother Rabbit tells everyone. So after you say your sentence, push pause, write your second yellow sentence, and when you're done writing it, push play. Now we're going to stop. Red means stop. We're at the end of the story or the finish line. Last, all the friends. What did the friends do at the end? Last, all the friends. After you say your sentence, push pause, write your sentence, and when you're done writing your sentence, push play. Time to check your work. Look at your 4 sentences and look at my writing checklist. Did you use finger spaces between each of your words? Make sure you check that. And if you didn't, make corrections. Did you use punctuation or put a period at the end of your sentence? Did you use uppercase letters at the beginning of a sentence or capital letters for names and at the beginning of your sentence? Did you sound out unknown words? Write the sounds you hear. And my favorite, did you reread each of my sentences? Make sure you reread each of your 4 sentences to make sure they make sense. If they don't, add words or take words out. So this is a good time to push pause and check your writing with the writing checklist. And when you're done, push play. At the top of your paper, I want you to reflect on your learning. How do you think you did? Our learning target was I can write a retell of the folk tale Little Rabbit's Tale using complete sentences. Would you give yourself a 4? I could teach this lesson. I wrote 4 complete sentences and I used my writing checklist. Would you give yourself a 3? I could help others with this. I wrote 3 complete sentences and I used my writing checklist. Or would you give yourself a 2? I needed some help with this. I wrote 2 complete sentences and I sometimes used the writing checklist. Or would you give yourself a 1? I needed a lot of help with this. I wrote 1 sentence and I did not use my writing checklist. So how do you think you did? 4, 3, 2, or 1? Write your reflection on the top of your paper. And you can check your work with mine. First, what happened in the story? Write a retell. Green means go. First, an apple falls off an old tree and hits Little Rabbit. He thinks the sky is falling. Then Little Rabbit tells Goose, and they tell Beaver. Beaver tells Turtle. Later, Mother Rabbit tells everyone that the sky is not falling. It was just an apple that fell from a tree. And last, all the friends wash their hands so they can eat a meal together. All right, boys and girls, thank you for writing with me and reviewing and talking about the story, Little Rabbit's Tale. Have a fantastic day.